When Bill O'Brien goes to work, he spends time with some of the luckiest gene pool winners in the world. 6'6" men who run like bullet trains. Running backs who could escape rooms full of leopards. But when Bill O'Brien goes home, he's with a son who didn't get nearly as lucky.
Later we will have a practice fire drill. That's funny. There's been some bad days. The other day he had a grand mal seizure, so you're at work, she's texting you, hey, he just had one of these, it's not good. Do you want me to come home? No, you're okay. One of those conversations. Edward tries on a shiny red fire hat. Look at that fire hat, Jack.
How many seizures does Jack have in a year?
Well, he has at least one a day, usually more.
It takes a while for his brain to catch up, and that clicks a seizure in the morning. So right away in the morning, he always has one.
Oh, your favorite. We're always saying, just breathe, Jack, just take that one breath. We're waiting for the exhale.
How long have you waited for a breath?
It seems like an eternity, but probably the longest is pushing a minute. But it's a long minute. It's a long minute.
People say it must be such a burden.
It makes me feel sad for Jack because he's not a burden and he would never want to be a burden. It's our normal.
But things were not normal with Jack. Almost a year old, he hadn't even rolled over.
He had an MRI. A few days later, they got the results and told us that he had a disorder called lissencephaly.
Lissencephaly is a genetic condition. It's pretty rare. It's about 1 in 100,000 people. And the term lissencephaly literally means smooth brain. Families are really taking care of these kids as if they're an infant for most of their lives.
He showed us the brain of a normal 1.5, 2-year-old, and then the brain of Jack. And that was when it hit us, where we probably did for a while there say, man, why us?
From one football job to the next, from an assistant with the New England Patriots in 2007 to the head coach at Penn State in 2012, Bill O'Brien had more than X's and O's on his mind. He had a little boy
How you doing?
to worry about.
Did you have a good day?
How tough is it to go to work in the morning?
There's definitely a certain amount of guilt.
Daddy will be home early tonight for a change. Yay!
You think about what Colleen's going to have to do starting at 6:30 in the morning. Jack's 24/7 care. You try to get home when you can, but at the end of the day, you got to do your job, and that's what Colleen allows me to do.
That's so funny. Am I driving? I'm tired.
And O'Brien doesn't just have one boy at home. He has two. Michael is 3 years younger than Jack and completely healthy.
He loves Jack. His first question is, how is Jack today? Did Jack have any seizures?
Pipes underneath the ground. The yellow
As Jack grew, the O'Briens started noticing a funny thing. After a seizure, he wasn't in pain. He was happy.
I used to say to Colleen, man, every day is kind of a struggle for him. I feel bad for him. Every time I say that, she goes, would you shut up? He is happy. He's the happiest kid in the world. He's laughing at you.
Laughing at me?
Laughing at your mommy.
He opened our eyes to a lot of things, especially in the football business, not to sweat the small things.
How long did they say Jack would live?
He wouldn't live past the age of 2. And when he turned 12, in this past August, Colleen wrote him a note. It was pretty neat. And Colleen said, that doctor that said you wouldn't live till 2 was wrong.
The O'Briens left Penn State after only 2 seasons so Bill could take the head coaching job at Houston, which has America's largest children's hospital and the country's leading experts on lissencephaly. Some criticize the move.
I've heard the rumors that this was all part of his grand plan and it was a stepping stone to get to the NFL, and that was never the intention.
We love Penn State, but at the end of the day, you feel some guilt about, are you doing the best thing for your family, especially as it relates to Jack?
You can crank it.
Yeah, it's the best part.
There you go. There you go. Good job.
If Jack could talk, what do you think he'd say to you?
Oh, I hope he would say, I love you, Mom, or I love you, Dad, or I love you, Michael, that those would be his first words. Hopefully he'd say, go Texans.
Is it nice to know there's one guy in Houston who does not care what the score was?
That's right. It is. And all he cares about is seeing his dad when his dad walks in the door. Yeah, that's true.